4 different teams. Oh, and he's got a man down the field, lunging out for it. Come on! Wolotarski lays out and holds it in. Give it to him. What a catch!
That was the only question. Was he going to be able to reel this one in, because the ball was thrown on a line to Wolotarski in the middle of the zone defense. Zach Collaros sees him, little double move here, and he gets him. He gets Blaze Brown. What a catch. 30-yard gain. And the Bombers in position to make it a 2-possession game now. What a catch.
What a move to open himself up as well, and he does a good job hanging on to that one. He's fired up.
10. Santos Knox with the assist. Simone Lawrence with the touchdown.
His second career pick six.
Wear it out.
6 catches, Winneke. There's an end zone look. Shall we call it 7?
What do you call that, Rod?
That's Sling Nasty.
Thank you.
And that's TD Jake. And he's got another one, his second of the...
Good crowd here today at McMahon. They're trying to get in ahead of Harris. Harris down the field looking for Edwards. He's got it. Touchdown, Elks. Ernest Edwards, welcome to the Canadian Football League.
Ernest Edwards has got some hops. He's got some speed. You could see it on the play down the sideline and just separated from the defenders. I mean, he just tracked a spot throw from Trevor Harris. There's some speed. He's got some speed now.
He can get around 29 touchdowns in college, and now here in his first half quarter in the Canadian Football League, he has found the end.
What is up, my friends from Canada and the United States of America? This is Mark Perry, editor of CFL News Hub, and welcome to another episode of the CFL News Hub Show, a weekly recap of the Canadian Football League. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, email podcast@CFL News Hub with your MP3s or videos. Also, make sure that you can also get us on any kind of podcast thing, so you can watch us live, because we're live right now on the YouTubes and Facebook. But if you want to listen to the show in your car while you're working out, I actually just started doing my marathon training. I'm doing the Disney Marathon in Orlando in January, so I started training this week. You can listen to podcasts anywhere: Audible, Stitcher, Player FM, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and of course, Apple Podcast. Yes. And remember, if you're watching this on the Facebooks or the YouTube, just smash the like button and give us a subscribe to the channel. So if you like football, subscribe to our channel. We appreciate that. On this week's show, we explain what the Banjo Bowl is. We talked about this in one of the first shows, but we'll do this to our American fans. And we'll also get you ready for week 6. We run through all my picks, the fantasy, been making money, latest news, injuries, TV ratings, and more, plus some of your social media stuff. Remember, our contest is still ongoing. You can win a CFL hoodie. All you have to do is either subscribe to how to enter to win. Subscribe to the channel, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Those are your two options. You can do one of those two things, and then you're entered to win a hoodie of your choice. We announced that in the beginning of October. Before we get into the show, I wanted to kind of great weekend of football, no question about it. I actually had some kids over, some younger kids in that middle school range, came over to my house hanging out at one point during the Labor Day. And I had the CFL game on. And some of the kids, and I remember, I'm from the United States. So they asked me what I was watching. And I said, this is the CFL. Have you ever heard of it? And they said, yeah. And they were like, well, look, the field looks different. And then so I was explaining about the rules. And I got, oh, that's cool. And they were kind of watching it for a little bit, as much as attention span as the youth has nowadays. But they were watching it and they understood it. And now they know somebody who watches the CFL. So as much as I could all weekend long, whether we were at the pool, I had my headset on, listening to the game, when I came home, watched some of the replays that I could. But again, fantastic games. Some barn burners, talking about the Ottawa Red Blacks and Montreal Alouettes. Oh my goodness, I was so excited for my fantasy team. We'll get into that later in the show and so much more. So without further ado, folks, let's get into some news surrounding the CFL, shall we? First up, things that fans were really interested in. The Toronto Argonauts and Edmonton Elks game was rescheduled for November 16th. All the super nerds out there were trying to figure out where they could schedule the game. It'll be November 16th at 7 p.m. So instead of having a bye week to end the year, the Argos will be playing Week 16 of the CFL season after all against the Edmonton Elks. CFL announced that they rescheduled the game, which was postponed in Week 3. The do-over game is slated for Tuesday, November 16th at 7 p.m. at BMO Field. Tuesday. What an interesting, especially now you're not going to have to go up against Monday Night Football in the United States. The good news for the Boatmen in the league's reschedule is that they won't lose a home game, something that many insiders suggested that would be a possibility. The league and BMO Field found a date that could work for both parties. The only drawback to the reschedule is that Toronto will be playing Edmonton on only a few days' rest after playing Hamilton on Friday. Yikes. November 12th. However, the Argos will be at home for that contest, so they won't have to travel for a short week. So that's pretty good there. According to Dave Naylor, it was voted on unanimously that the game will be rescheduled. So put it on the calendar, my friends. We updated our schedule that the Argos will be playing the Elks on a Tuesday, November 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully that is the end of any of these kind of rescheduled games. Elks signed former CFL All-Star linebacker Derek Moncrief. This past week, the Elks signed the CFL All-Star linebacker to their already impressive defense after attending college at Oklahoma State. Moncrief spent 3 seasons in the CFL with the CFL Saskatchewan Roughriders, where he'd appeared in 35 games and racked up a total of 132 tackles, 4 sacks, 5 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. He earned the titles of CFL All-Star and West Division All-Star in 2019. Moncrief played the 2020 season in the NFL, where he'd spent some time on the practice squad for the Raiders and Rams. He'd be elevated to the Rams' active roster on October 31st for the team's Week 8 matchup against the Dolphins and was moved back to the practice squad after the game. The Rams waived Moncrief on August 17th. The Elks' defense has played very well this season, and a player like Derek Moncrief can make a massive impact on both the field and in the locker room. He will not suit up against the Elks rematch against Calgary. Is currently listed on the suspended list where he's got the whole quarantine thing. He should hit the field Week 7 versus the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And he's really the only one. We haven't really heard much about any other big signings, guys that were cut from the NFL that making their way back to the CFL. I assume we could get a couple more maybe in the next week or so. Sad news and thoughts and prayers go out to the Montreal Alouettes family. They announced the passing of former owner Bob Wetenhall. Passed away Friday. He owned the Alouettes from 1997 to 2019, helped by his son Andrew in the last years. He was inducted as a builder into the CFL Football Hall of Fame's class of 2015. In 1997, Bob played an instrumental role in the rebirth of the Montreal Alouettes, the franchise's business administrations, football operations, and community involvement. Wetenhall's desire to return CFL football to Montreal, coupled with his drive to develop a winning culture, are the reasons the team has enjoyed success both on and off the field since the team's move from Baltimore. At the turn of the century, the Alouettes dynasty was in full force on the strength of 8 Grey Cup appearances in 10 years and 3 championship wins. In his 22 seasons as the club's steward, the Alouettes had finished in first place in the East Division on 10 separate occasions, adding 223 wins. Wetenhall has allowed the Alouettes to shine, all while bringing the team closer to the population. Giving back to Quebec community was always a priority for the Alouettes owner. Raised in the American Midwest, Wetenhall attended Princeton University and was one of the founding members of the McConnell, Wetenhall & Co. Company. His interest in football started long ago as the co-owner of the Boston Patriots of the American Football League during the 1960s and continue as the owner of the New England Patriots when the franchise entered the NFL. So our thoughts and prayers go out to the Wetenhall family and all involved with the Montreal Alouettes. Bob Wetenhall passed away September 6, 2021. Oh, that's me with my glasses on. All right, week 4 TV ratings are in on. This is from TSN. This got a little bit delayed. My man Mike Mitchell had a hard time trying to knock down all these TV ratings, but we have them for week 4, not week 5. This is week 4. So on the Canadian side, the numbers have been promising in the early weeks of the season. Overall, in the first 4 weeks of the season, the CFL has attracted an average audience of 524,000 viewers, an increase of 11% compared to the same period in 2019. That's good. On the American side of things, the number have been slightly disappointing, although all CFL games air on ESPN's linear networks, ESPN2, ESPN News, and ESPN Plus. The viewership totals are barely registering. Firstly, the games that air on ESPN News are not monitored by the Nielsen Media Research as they have been in the past. Furthermore, the later than usual start of the CFL season has put them in direct competition with the NFL. And with the NFL season upon us, getting eyeballs on a CFL product in the fall will become more challenging in the coming weeks ahead. Absolutely. Due to the postponement of the Edmonton-Toronto game last Thursday, there were only 3 CFL games played in week 4. CFL on TSN week 4 TV ratings last week's Tiger Cats Alouettes game attracted an average audience of 500,000 viewers, a 25% increase compared to the last meeting between the teams in 2019. The BC Lions Ottawa game averaged 400,000 viewers. Sunday night's game between the Calgary and Winnipeg averaged 673,000 viewers, becoming the most watched game between both teams since 2013. Numbers were provided by TSN and Bell Media. On CFL on ESPN2 Week 4 TV ratings, the Sunday night's Calgary-Winnipeg telecast on ESPN2 did not register in the top 150 rated cable programs. The average viewership for the game was around 78,000 viewers. That's not good. ESPN2 is the best place to that they can get, basically, and regular ESPN. And so having 78,000 viewers on a Sunday night, not that great. Thus far, in a minimal sample, ESPN2-based CFL telecasts have averaged roughly around 100,000 viewers per telecast. And week 5, 2 of the CFL games will air on ESPN News. That's not good. Sunday's game and the Monday game, Elks and Calgary Stampeders on the Labor Day Classic. So not the greatest numbers, not to be surprising with the CFL numbers in the United States, but the CFL numbers in Canada are looking good. I mean, that was the problem, and that was one of the things with the XFL, is just to have that tie-in would give American fans an interest in tuning into league, even though just the chatter in itself generated some interest. But now that the NFL is kicking off, this week 5 would be a big week to see what the numbers look like as far as kind of maybe drawing some fans in before the NFL season begins. We have our CFL Week 5 power rankings and a little shift of power. Winnipeg Blue Bombers are number 1. Last week they were 2. Rough Riders dropped 1. They were number 1. They are now down to 2. Tiger Cats, I agree, moving up to number 3. Been looking impressive the last couple weeks, starting to get their game together. Edmonton Elks, clearly lighting people up, move up to number 4. And it's funny because this is kind of what we assumed the top teams would be. Winnipeg, the Riders, Tiger Cats, and Elks was kind of the teams that we thought. Throw in Montreal Alouettes. They looked really good, even though they played Ottawa. But they look really good. They move up to number 5 from 7. BC Lions, I'm still holding out hope that the BC Lions will make a run and be in that top 4, at least 5, but they're at 6 right now. Argos, I was really hoping that we could get a big Argo-Toronto run, have a good team, but they're at 7. They were 3 last week. Stampeders, the shine is off. Don't you think they need Bo Levi Mitchell back? I think so. They're at 8. They were at 6, and of course Ottawa at 9. Well, with Ottawa, Dominic Davis looked much better than Matt Nichols, whatever his name. Yeah, Matt Nichols. So if Dominic Davis can get some run potentially in the next week or two and some practice, could be a good thing for the Ottawa Red Blacks. I mean, at least they put up some points this past weekend, CFL players were named top performers this week. No shocker here. Trevor Harris, Vernon Adams Jr., and Brandon Alexander were named the CFL top performers for week 5. The 3 players were, the whole deal. Trevor Harris led the way as Edmonton snapped an 8-game losing streak in the Labor Day Classic. The Edinburgh product completed 31 of 41, a 75.6% completion percentage, 398 yards. It threw for 4 touchdowns to 4 different receivers in the Elks' 32-20 victory over their rivals. Vernon Adams Jr. lit up 51-29 over the Ottawa Red Blacks on Friday night. 288, 18 of 23, 78.2%, added 35 yards on the ground. Adams found Eugene Lewis. Winke looked good. We'll get into some of those stuff later. For the season, Adams has passed 931 yards, rushed for 157, and leads the league with 9 touchdown passes. He also tied a career high with 4 touchdown passes as well. If that game was closer, who knows what he would have done. And finally, Brandon Alexander, defensive back from the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, made a big part in smothering the Saskatchewan offense in the Labor Day weekend. Recorded 2 interceptions, 4 defensive tackles, and a special team tackle in the 23-8 victory at Mosaic Stadium on Sunday. His first interception came on Saskatchewan's second drive of the game. Alexander jumped the route up the middle and returned the ball 20 yards, leading to a Sean McGuire touchdown to open scoring. And Alexander's first 2 interceptions of the year pushed his career total to the 6 and 4 season in the CFL. Fans' Choice of the Week, Mark Legejo won week 4 of the Fans' Choice and collected 10 bonus points. Still leading the way in the total points is Cody Fajardo, Michael Riley, and Jonathan Woodward, Nick Arbuckle, and then a bunch of other guys. And that is your top players. No question about it. You could pick one, but I guess with Trevor Harris being Trevor Harris, who we thought he would be with almost 400 yards passing, he is your top player, top performer of week 5. All right, my friends from the United States of America, as your subject matter expert of all things CFL, I'm totally lying 100%. The Banjo Bowl. What the heck is the Banjo Bowl? Well, the Banjo Bowl is the annual rematch between the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and we'll get in my picks later, that of the CFL Football League. After the Labor Day Classic, which just happened this past Labor Day, really interested in finding out what the ratings are. Well, the traditional Labor Day Classic game is always played on the Sunday before Labor Day at Mosaic Stadium in Regina, Saskatchewan, previously held at Taylor Field. There is usually a rematch on the following weekend between these two rival Prairie teams at IG Field in Winnipeg, Manitoba. So the Banjo Bowl moniker was coined by Blue Bombers board member David Asper in early 2004, inspired by an infamous comment made by Bombers place kicker Troy Westward in the week prior to the 2003 West Division semifinals between the two teams. Westwood was quoted in the media as saying that people from Regina are a bunch of banjo-picking inbreds. He later apologized half-heartedly for those comments, saying that, quote, the vast majority of people in Saskatchewan have no idea how to play the banjo. Well played, my friend. Well played. Very good. This further fueled the Winnipeg-Saskatchewan football rivalry and has made the rematch game even more of an event. The game is sponsored by the Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries Corporation. The game has been sold out every year since 2005. And as of the 2019 season, Winnipeg leads the series 9-7. I don't know. In the time the game was played at the Candace Inn Stadium, the Rough Riders held a 5-4 in the record series. The Blue Bombers dominated in this new stadium in the series with the record of 5-2. That's where the whole Banjo Bowl comes around. Great thing. I love his comment. The vast majority of people in Saskatchewan have no idea how to play the banjo. Hilarious. Kudos for that. And so now we get the next round of the Banjo Bowl coming up this week. So now you know what the Banjo Bowl is. All right, now it is time, my friends. Let's get into some picks for this week, shall we? So we have an interesting slate. So Friday, we have a game at 7:30. We got Hamilton at Toronto. Then we have the Banjo Bowl, September 11th at 4 p.m., Saskatchewan at Winnipeg. Then we have another game Saturday. That's at 7, Calgary at Edmonton. And then Ottawa is not playing Montreal. BC Lions, of course, are not going to take 2 weeks off. They're playing at BC, and that is at 10 p.m. So that's the games with this for this week 6. My last week's score, let's find out how I did last week. So first up, we have the Montreal Alouettes taking on the Ottawa Red Blacks. Very, very, very difficult to make that pick. I'm pulling out my little cheat sheet here. So far, after week 4, I am 7-8. So now we're on to week 5. Very difficult. I picked 22-10. The final score was 51-29. Yeah. Not, I picked the winner. I didn't think that was going to be a score like that. I was very excited for that in the fantasy. On to the next game, Winnipeg versus Saskatchewan. I was Cody Fajardo all the way. Winnipeg takes it 23-8. They show that they are the cream of the crop. Cody Fajardo struggles on Labor Day and beating Winnipeg. So they have his number apparently. And I was wrong about that one. Winnipeg 23, Saskatchewan 8. Toronto versus Hamilton Tiger Cats. My Hamilton Tiger Cats, I get the win there. 26-23, I had Hamilton over Toronto. Final score 32-19. Not close, but I got that one right. And I got this one wrong. I really thought Calgary was going to hold up. Now I think Calgary is done, skis. Edmonton is here now, 32-20. Edmonton over Calgary. I had Edmonton 13, Calgary 18. And of course, this is the first game where Edmonton's offense really just took control and lit things up. So basically split that, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So I'm basically 9-10 so far still. So I split that one, which isn't too bad, guys. It isn't too bad. 50-50. But again, now I feel comfortable, and I said that last week, but I feel comfortable going into this week because now I feel like the teams we've kind of like flushed things out. Some teams got off to a slow start, like Hamilton and Edmonton. Calgary, we thought was good. Saskatchewan, we thought was going to run the table, but Winnipeg seems to be a dominant team. And then Toronto, we were hoping Toronto would be good, and they're not. And Ottawa is Ottawa. First up, Hamilton Tiger Cats versus Toronto. I have Hamilton winning again, bye-bye. 28-20 over Toronto. Next game, Saskatchewan versus Winnipeg. I have Winnipeg winning again. Banjo Bowl, 14-25. I think they got that. I think if Saskatchewan was going to win, it was going to be last week, and they lost, only scoring 8. I'm like, yo, Winnipeg's got your number, and they're going to do it again. Game 3, Calgary versus Edmonton. Again, Trevor Harris, keep it going. I think Calgary might score a little bit more points than they did last week. I mean, they did get 20 points on Edmonton, let's be honest. So I got Calgary 23, Edmonton 29. I think that will win again. And then finally, Ottawa versus BC Lions. Even though Dominic Davis could be there, I think this game will get a little close. Ottawa might have a quarterback that can play a little bit. No offense, Matt Nichols. 24-28, I still think BC Lions are going to do it. I love BC Lions wide receiving core. This Michael Riley gets a week off, rest his elbow. I think he'll be out. I think they could score more. But if there was going to be an upset, maybe Ottawa could do it this week. So finally, my recap of all the games. I've got Hamilton beating Toronto, Winnipeg beating Saskatchewan, Edmonton beating Calgary, and BC Lions beating Ottawa. But maybe Ottawa could come out and win this one with a new quarterback behind the helm. Let us know what you think in the comments. All right, my friends, let's get into some fantasy football real quick. So last week 5 roster, yeah, I was excited. Vernon Adams, baby, 31 points, looked great. Kadeem Carey, always going with my guy Kadeem Carey, 12 points, 6 attempts, 43 yards. He did get a touchdown, thank goodness. I thought that maybe, that game wasn't really close, so therefore he wasn't getting a lot of thing. DJ Foster, I was really hoping him. He got 10 points, 3 attempts for 14 yards. This can't be, and 5 catches for 38 yards, a decent game for him. Jalen Ackland, 12 points, 5 catches for 56 yards. Rasheed Bailey, 4 points, nothing really there, 4 of 11. Josh Huff, 6 catches for 68 yards. He got 15 points. And then Montreal, of course, doing well, beating up on Ottawa. So what's going on with this week's pick? That's my best so far. I've gotten, you can't see it on the screen per se, but I got 61, 72, 66, 86, and 99.7. Now let's get into, of course, how am I doing? You want to know how I'm doing with the league stuff? Let's see here. Where's my league? Oh, here you go, leagues. On the CFL News Hub Writers League, overall, I am 3rd. DFS Spreadsheets is number 1. Mike Mitchell is 2. The Markcast is 3. Clayside 86. Josh Davis 20. And then R1D3, a bunch of other stuff at 40. So I'm in 3rd place overall. Weekly last week. Well, actually, they're not going to show it. All right, on to this week's games. Now, first, we got to go to the CFL's website, and I kind of agree or disagree with some of these things. With their start and sit, say hello to some offense. So they have, for the Hamilton-Toronto game, they had start Brandon Banks at $13,000? No way. They have sit Don Jackson. I get that kind of there. Saskatchewan, they got the Saskatchewan versus Winnipeg. They got start the Winnipeg defense. Sit Cody Fajardo. I agree with that at $13,000. Sit him. Start Trevor Harris. We'll get into that in a second. Greg Ellington. Some other players. Sit Hergy Malaya, Stampeders. I'm with you on there. Start Shaq Cooper. Pretty cheap thing. And sit the Ottawa's running backs. So on this thing, I'm not going to use any of my bonus. No thanks this time. On the QB side of things, Cody Fajardo, too expensive. Trevor Harris, too expensive. I'm going to go with Michael Riley. I think he can do well. He's had the rest. I think he can do decent, save me some money there. I'm going with Michael Riley as my first guy. Do I have a better, can you see this better? No. So I'm going Michael Riley there. Running back, I'm liking Kadeem Carey, but I'm a little worried now because Edmonton looked so well. John White, how did he do last week? I'm not really sold. I mean, 9 carries, 12. I mean, he's getting the carries, but just no fantasy points. That's the problem. William Powell, how's he looking? Look at his game logs. 8 carries, 18 carries, 12. I mean, really nothing there either. Sean Thomas Erlington, I kind of liked him. 5 carries. Nothing really there. And they were saying Shaq Cooper. Do I really want to go double-double with the quarterback and running back? I mean, 14 carries, 71 yards. That's really risky, is to do the running back on the same team. But you got to pick 2 running backs, so I think I might go low with him. And my other running back, do I go back with Kadeem Carey? I mean, we haven't heard if Bo Levi Mitchell is coming back. I mean, he did do decent, got some touchdowns. I don't know. I'm trying to decide, what do you guys think in the chat room? What do you think I should be going up again? What do you think I should be putting in there? Let us know in the chat. That's tough to get some kind of decent running game going on here. I might just go with Erlington just because I'm a homer. Because I'm not really excited about anybody, to be honest with you. On the side, again, Banks, I love Banks. He's not worth that kind of money. Braylon Addison, Brian Burnham, and more. I'm definitely into some more. Greg Ellingson, definitely into that. Oh, no. I have like no salary cap left. No thanks. Let's see here. Let's go with defense. Pick the BC Lions over Ottawa. That's an easy one. Oh, man. My guys are too high. Oh, boy. This is going to be tough. All right, I might have to go down a peg. I think Ellingson didn't get as much run in the big 4-touchdown game. I think he will this week. That's why I want to go with him. I have like nothing left. I'm going to have to go super cheap on the running back, I think. I have like no money here to spend. One of the guys I was thinking of was R.J. Harris for Ottawa because is there any other Ottawa guys? Devontae Dedmon, I like him a lot. I feel like he should get the ball more. How did Peterman do? I feel like now that they have a new quarterback, look, 7 catches. Oh, yeah. Daniel Peterman. Hopefully he can have the same type of game. Oh, man. I have like no money. We're going to have to really scrape Drew Wolf and Noel. These guys did pretty good last week, I think. Oh, no, he didn't do anything. Drew Wolatarski. I think he had all right. I mean, 4 catch. I mean, then he just disappears. Let's go with him as well. I mean, we're scraping the barrel at the bottom here. I'm not feeling this lineup at all. Let's see here. Who's the cheapest guy I can get at running back for 4,000? 4,300. Definitely not Brady Oliveira. Anthony Combs. Again, they said to stay away from Ottawa running game. When healthy, Combs is dangerous dual threat. We don't even know if he's going to play. Foster did all right, didn't he? Game log. 3 carries. I think he might get more. I mean, he had 10 carries for 100 yards. So we'll add him to get somebody on the cheap. And can we move up at all at wide receiver? or in our flex position. We have 4,300. Can we move up 4,300 at wide receiver? I don't want any of these running backs. Let's see, 4,000. No, not really. Not really. Anybody on the cheaper side of thing that I saw? Nope. All right, we'll go with Drew. There's your lineup. Oh, I still have 800. Is there anybody I could move up that would be worth? Oh, man, there's nothing really. I mean, even Daniel Peterman, if I ditched him, that would give me 5,007. I mean, Mike Jones had a great game, I believe. 4 catches, 100 yards. That's a pretty good start. Over Daniel Peterman. That was just kind of a Hail Mary, so to speak, on that. I mean, got 3 catches, 7 catches, and 2 touchdowns. Though I do kind of want Peterman in my lineup, but I really can't. I got 2 Edmonton guys. That's not a good idea. We'll go with Peterman in there. We'll keep him in there. We'll see how he does. Still have 800 left over. Is there anything I could do at running back again? 4,300. We didn't see any of that. We'll keep him. I mean, I could move up Shaq Cooper maybe, but who? I mean, the running back situation is 6,400. I can do, I mean, this is basically the same. And the game logs, I mean, 9, 6, 10, and 5. I only once broke over 10 fantasy points. Shaq Cooper, I mean, he had 14 carries and 6 carries. It seems like he's definitely getting the load more. So, again, but I don't want the same player. So I'm going to have to go with Sean in my lineup. And it still doesn't bring me to spend that money. We'll go with it. And that's our lineup this week. Michael Riley, Sean Thomas Erlington, DJ Foster, Greg Ellingson, I think, is going to have a big game, and Peterman's going to have a big game. Wolotarski gets somebody low, and then, of course, I'm always picking the defense, anybody who is going up against the BC Lions. So what do you think of my lineup there in the chat room? Do you think I know what I'm talking about? Do you think I'm an idiot? We will check up with you guys in a second. Let's go on to the DraftKings side of the ball, so to speak. Last week, again, winning money won money most of my leagues in the 50-50. Didn't do great. Again, Cody Fajardo. Look at that. 64% of the people pick Cody Fajardo. Nothing. 7. You think I'm going to pick him this week? No. Kadeem Carey, 12 points. Moore got 18. That was a great pick. Lawler, only 6. Sean Thomas, 6. Winicky, boom, 34. Montreal, was picking the Montreal guy. And then look at the Alouettes. Everybody picked that Alouettes too. So I got 100 points. So it paid out. And I'm looking good there. So now on to this week's lineup. Staying away from Cody Fajardo. I ain't paying that. Trevor Harris, ain't paying for that. Look at Mike Riley. 8,900. All the way down here. Yeah. I'm taking Mike Riley. Again, like I've said, off the bye week. Got the chance to rest the elbow, rest the arm. He's ready to rock and roll. Let's go with defense. Of course, Ottawa is bottom. The Red Blacks, Argos, Elks, Lions. The Lions, but I think the Red Blacks will be better. But there's still Ottawa. And they might be throwing a lot. We'll see if maybe he might throw a couple picks. On to the wide receiver, or we'll start with the running back. Andrew Harris. Do we want to pay up for Andrew Harris. I mean, look at that. 18. I mean, he's getting the carries. He'll get the carries in this game. I might pay up for Andrew Harris at my running back. If that's my only running back, that's fine by me. These are the guys I wanted. Ellington and Moore. Carrying Moore. I'll pay down for somebody on the flex side of things. I mean, average remaining salary is $5,000. Again, I'm flexing and I'm looking for wide receivers that are on the low. Oh, Peterman, I'm high on this week, and that leaves me with 4,300. And this guy did something, right? Game log, 2 catches. Ooh. Somebody who's really, man, I'm really stretching the flex. We'll play and start at fullback. I don't care about that. Iron. None of these names I saw. Ant usually gets something. Gets it like a point or two. I mean, he did get a 9 and a 7. You got him on the super cheap. But there's nobody. Picton, 3 catches, 2 catches. Nothing really there. Gittins, I think he had 6 catches. He might get some run. We draft him. We're over 200. What if I play down the defense and go with the Argos? Defense. Just so I can get him in the lineup too. So I'm feeling comfortable about that. My lineup, Riley, Harris, Ellingson, Carrion Moore, Peterman, Gittins is like my long shot, and then the Argos defense. Look at this. Entering $25, going up, playing in a big one this week, just because I've been feeling pretty good. So I've entered that. So there is my lineup for this week. We'll see how I do in. Hopefully this will be the one that I just blow it and lose all my cash. That would be sad if I had a really bad week. But I'm feeling pretty good about this lineup. All right, let's say hello to everybody in the chat. Kay says, let me say for the record that Edmonton should have had to forfeit the game instead of the reschedule. I mean, that's a tough one. I mean, they're going to try to reschedule it at first. They were able to do it. I think everybody learned their lesson, and teams are definitely check things out a little bit more and are more serious about what's going on. We'll see what happens there. John says, you have to see the then premiere of Saskatchewan, Brad Wall's Banjo Bowl message. I saw the Banjo Bowl song, which was very funny, but I wanted to play it, but I'm afraid to get copyright penalties and that kind of thing. So that's why I didn't play it. Remember, if you're watching this on the YouTube or even on Facebook, give us a like and make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. I really appreciate that. Putting out the word about the CFL for all of our friends across the world. Let's get into some social media stuff, shall we? First up, let's hit the Facebooks a little bit. About Bo Levi Mitchell removed from the injured list and returns to practice. Not a lot of fans for Mr. Bo out there. Tony says, I still say he has just butt hurt from his worst start ever. He had his day in the sun and isn't half the superstar he thinks he is. Yikes. Chris says, of course he is. He sees he's about to lose his job if he didn't come back. I don't think he's losing his job after last week. Michael says, after he watched the kid last week, he got better fast. I think that clearly was some motivation, perhaps. But I think he'll be all right. On the ratings, Harvey says, is this data based on live or live plus DVR and streams? We live in an era where you hear set your DVRs, whereas I grew up hearing make sure you tune in. Now, that's true. My wife actually asked me that same question. We were talking about TV shows, specifically Hallmark Channel, because my wife likes Hallmark Channel, and I actually watch Hallmark shows with her because they're light and refreshing, and they're very simple, and life is very complicated and drama filled, and that's why I like watching and spending time with the wife. It's always good to do something that she wants, because then she lets you do what you want, guys, you dummies out there. I don't know how I've always thought that they do factor that in. I've also heard that this restreaming and DVR stuff is very little versus the live thing. But that has got to change. I'm not 200% sure on that, though. On the player discipline from week 4, Harvey says Ottawa should be fine for the blank that they laying tonight. This, of course, was last week's game. So Harvey's not too happy with his Ottawa Red Blacks. They're looking better, though, Harv. They're looking better. Brunson said, "Can somebody please tell me how I can get the Canadian Football League televised on my TV? I'm done with the NFL. I'm looking for alternatives to watch besides just college and high school." All right, Brunson. ESPN, ESPN Plus, and ESPN. Everything ESPN, if you live in the United States, you can then watch all of the CFL games. ESPN is your pal. That's where you do it there. On to the YouTube. Ryan says, so how did that I'm a Saskatchewan backer, they are going to show Winnipeg that they are the top dog in the CFL. You are second Winnipeg. Theory work out for you? You were only basing it off stats on the season and their unbeaten home streak, but you forgot the one key point in this game. If you are picking, you have to go with the team that has already played a road game, as the Criders have had a very insanely soft beginning to their schedule this year. Winnipeg is simply the best team in the CFL, and there is no close second once they do it back-to-back. And Winnipeg again. Toronto sucks. Ryan, dropping it. I'll tell you what, though. If Saskatchewan does not win this game, then then Winnipeg is clearly the top dog and potential back-to-back Grey Cup champions after a paused year type thing. Thanks for the message. Outdoors in the Air. Hey, Mark. I'm an early subscriber to this channel and really enjoy your stuff. Thank you very much. And before you make fun of my username again, that's the name of my YouTube channel, Outdoors on the Air. Very cool. Check his stuff out. Why don't you give us an update on your next show, on your impressions, what specifically you're enjoying about the CFL game now that you've had a few weeks of consistent viewing. It'd be interesting to hear from you as you were new to it. All the best. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that. Outdoors in the Air. Check out his channel as well. I've said this before. I like it. I like the pace of the game. I'm enjoying the players. Now I'm getting to know the players. I'm getting to understand the rules. I mean, there's sometimes I was like, wait. Where did that 1 point come from? And as far as my football watching goes, this year, so I did watch last week. I watched the Virginia Tech game just because my brother went to Virginia Tech. So that's kind of like our pseudo college football team. So and they were playing in the 10th ranked North Carolina. So I had that game on for a little bit, and I was switching back and forth. But if there's a CFL game on and I have an opportunity to watch, I'm on there. I've also watched some of the replays. I like the pace. It's just different. And when it comes to footballs on Sunday, it'll be Sunday, and my wife's a Steelers fan, and I'm a Ravens fan. Yes, you political people, and you're anti this and drama that and all this other stuff, you can get along with everybody else. It's not that serious. It is serious, but it's not that serious. Let's just be honest. So my wife is a Steelers fan, and I'm a Ravens fan. That's like the Hatfield and McCoys of football, and we're fine. And, so we watch those games together. I root for her team. She roots for mine. But when they play each other, half the house are Ravens fans, half the house are Steelers fans, and whoever wins gets to go out to Sweet Frog, which is a Christian-backed ice cream shop chain, and we get ice cream. And we just do it for fun. So, but I'm liking the games. Anytime I got a chance to, my wife works late at nights. sometimes. So I'm sitting there watching the games and enjoying it. The one thing is you won't see me on Twitter. I was on Twitter in the beginning. I'm not on now because Twitter is more instant than the feed. You got to think that feed is TSN all the way to ESPN and then to my TV. So on Twitter, they'll start talking about, oh, what a great play. And 30 seconds later, the play still hasn't even happened yet on my TV. So I'm off Twitter during CFL games and just enjoying the games. And then if I miss the games, I try to catch as much of the replay as I can. And I'm liking it. I like it a lot. I'd be curious to see what happens at the end of the season, what happens with the XFL. But this channel is doing good. It'll be interesting to see what happens after this week when the NFL kicks in. We saw some of what Mike Mitchell was talking about, the ratings, at least in the U.S., but we'll see how the ratings are in Canada. So but we're all good. We'll like it. We are all in. Definitely enjoying the product, that's for sure. Always looking forward to the games. It's like my must-see TV of the week, to be honest with you. Josh says, Braden Linus is your man for the cheap option. Linnaeus. I did see that name out there. That was a pretty decent name. That did okay, I think, this past week. All right, my friends. Well, that's it for the social media aspect of it. We want to thank Kay and John for checking into the chat room. Remember, enjoy the Banjo Bowl this week. Hopefully, you can win some money this week. We went big with the $25. We got the game rescheduled. We got that going in. NFL season starts. It's going to be interesting to see what the ratings are in Canada now that the CFL has to go up against the NFL. But the thing is, we can walk and chew gum. You can get your Thursday night football. You get Friday and Saturday with the CFL, and then Sunday. And you can get college football if you're really into that too. I'm not as much as I am. I would always prefer a CFL game pretty much over most any football at this point. So I'm excited. So thanks for checking in. Remember, if you want to be part of the show, email podcast@CFLNewsHub with your MP3s or videos, and you can listen to us on all podcast gimmicks. Remember our contest. Make sure you enter our contest. All you have to do is leave a review on Apple Podcasts or subscribe to our channel on YouTube. You'll be entered to win a CFL hoodie. We will give one away at the end of the month. We appreciate all that and supporting not only our channel, but also CFL News Hub as well. We keep growing and getting better numbers each week, and that's been great. And that's all because of you guys. Thanks so much. And I definitely, whatever you guys want us to talk about and do, we'd love to grow our CFL kingdom, so to speak. Now we're at week 6. Banjo Bowl, we've got past the Labor Day and beyond. We've got September, October, November. Really, in a week or two, we're going to be kind of coming down the home stretch. Seems crazy. But it's been a lot of fun, and thanks for hanging out with me. God bless. Stay safe out there, my friends, and I will see you all later.